Am I audible and visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the screen is also visible, right? My screen is also visible, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Video is live or video is just photo stationary? My video is live or not?
So 4 minutes not live.
For you, it is not live. So there is
No, sir.
something, I see, something has to be adjusted in that. I don't know what happened. Something happens.
For me, it's working, sir.
For you, it is working. I see. So for some, it is working. For some, it is not working. I have to let me once again check. So it has been disturbed. Okay. Because when I mail you the YouTube link, I think it is important that video of the speaker is also visible. Then only the lecture sounds better. Otherwise, it is just somebody talking in the background. It sounds like that. And also your interaction when you are interacting with me, then also that looks live. So, all right. So is it okay now? Am I visible properly?
Yes, sir. Good.
Yes.
So, as you know, the clouds are the most spectacular phenomena in the sky, right? The most spectacular visible phenomena in the sky, right? And you have seen many types of clouds which are present in the atmosphere. Okay, so we are going to study their physics of the cloud. All right. Now, in this chapter, we will study besides the fundamental aspects of the formation of clouds, the types of the clouds, okay, the nucleation and growth of cloud droplets, warm rain formation by collision coalescence processes, ice crystal nucleation and growth, homogeneous nucleation of ice by freezing and deposition, heterogeneous nucleation of ice on flat curved surfaces. These are the topics we are going to study in the cloud microphysics or cloud physics. Okay. Well, again, this cloud physics is a vast topic, and there are many textbooks available on this subject. Later on, actually, in your third semester or fourth semester, or probably for the PhD students, we offer also the electives on this topic, separate 4 credit hour course as electives on modeling of clouds and precipitation. Okay, so that shows that this is a vast subject. A lot of books and papers have been published on this topic, but what we are going to study in this semester as a small part of the physics of the atmosphere, and that will be just a brief introduction about the clouds. Okay. But there are many people, authors or scientists, who have done a lot of research on cloud physics. I remember I had seen long ago, many years ago, almost 30, 40 years ago, a very good book on cloud physics by B.J. Mason. B.J. Mason was professor of cloud physics at Imperial College London. I think that book must be still available, though it may be out of publication now. But you may be able to find out from the Google search. But there are many other books also. Now, separately dealing with the clouds, there are books on cloud physics by, I think, Yao, short course on clouds, and then there are books on cloud physics by Alexander, and books on clouds by, I think, cloud dynamics by House is there. Then there are storms and clouds by Anthes is there. So there are many standard textbooks available on the clouds. Okay, cloud physics, which you can study later on if you are interested. Some of you are interested in doing research, deep research on cloud physics, then you can study those things in more detail, right, as a full semester course. But in this semester, we will be just studying the brief introduction part. Okay. So now, as you know, the basic hydrological process that occurs in the atmosphere, exists in the atmosphere Earth system, right? How clouds form, we have talked now in many ways earlier, and you also might have studied about the cloud formation. The most fundamental or elementary way we think is that the evaporation takes place from the surface of the water bodies like ocean or lake or river, etc. Okay, and as the moist air rises, okay, it cools down and then condensation occurs. Okay, and clouds form because of the condensation. When the clouds mature, they precipitate out as rainfall. Again, rainfall. Now, rain falls on the earth surface, and then it runs off, or runoff takes place. The water partly is absorbed by the land, partly overflows over the land, and partly goes to the river. Through river, it again reaches the ocean. Right? This is the standard hydrological cycle that you have studied earlier. Right? So this is the way the water cycles in the Earth's atmospheric system. Okay, the most fundamental way to classify the cloud is based upon the height of its base. Generally, the clouds are classified into three types. All right, one is the low cloud, and the low cloud have their surface and have their base from surface to the up to 2 kilometer height in the tropics. Okay, so all those cloud types whose base is from ground to 2 kilometer are classified as the low clouds. Okay, have you seen the clouds at the ground? Have you seen the clouds at the ground? Yes or no? Everybody is
Yes,
silent.
sir.
Am I? Yeah.
So the
Yes,
cloud,
sir.
Yeah. What is that cloud on the ground called? When the cloud is over the ground, what is it called?
fog,
Fog.
Surface
Yes.
clouds.
Yeah. Well, the clouds when they are at the ground, they're called fog. And of course, that is like a stratiform cloud, of course, right? So, so the low clouds can occur from surface up to 2 kilometer, right? Then the medium clouds have their bases from 2 to 8 kilometer, and the high clouds have their bases from 6 to 18 kilometer, and that is all in the tropics. Okay, it will be slightly different in the mid latitudes and slightly different in the polar regions. You might have studied these things. Have you studied these things earlier, the fundamentals? Yes or no?
so we are studying cloud types
Yes,
in
sir.
Chinmay
Okay.
sir.
The basic aspects you must have studied earlier in some form, somewhere, maybe in geography or maybe in the introduction lecture of the Earth System Sciences at ATS 401 maybe. Okay. So in this table, we show the cloud types according to their height in different regions, right? Like this is the polar region. This is for the temperate region also, that's called the mid latitude. Okay, mid latitude region and the tropical region. Okay, and this is the height of the cloud base. Okay, so as I said just now, when the cloud base is below 2 kilometer, in fact, everywhere, whether it's the tropics or mid latitude or polar region, clouds below 2 kilometer base is called the low cloud. Okay. Then clouds whose bases are between 2 to 4 in the polar regions are called middle clouds. In the temperate or mid latitudes, their bases are from 2 to 7 kilometer. And in the tropics, their bases are from 2 to 8 kilometer. Okay. Similarly, for the high clouds, in the tropics, the bases can be from 6 to 18 kilometer. Very high cloud at 18 kilometer, almost like on the tropopause. In the mid latitudes, the high cloud bases range from 5 to 13 kilometer. and in the polar regions, they are low, and they range from 3 to 8 kilometer. Okay. Also, there are many types of clouds which you can uh, study yourself from the cloud atlas. Okay. And their generics are named as cumulus, cumulonimbus, stratus, stratocumulus, nimbostratus. They're all the form of low clouds. Now, this cumulonimbus is such a cloud that sometimes its base is at the low level, but its top can be at very high level, almost reaching the tropopause, right? But all these types of clouds, cumulus, cumulonimbus, stratus, stratocumulus, nimbostratus, they are called the low clouds. Then in the middle cloud category, we have got altostratus, altocumulus, and in the high cloud category, we have got cirrus, cirrostratus, and cirrocumulus. Okay. So you can see all these definitions of these clouds and how they look like in the International Cloud Atlas published by WMO. And this is the website given by for this. You can also make a Google search of International Cloud Atlas WMO and you will find this link over there. Okay. So you can see so many varieties of clouds now, and there's brief description now how they look like and with their names and generic categories, etc. in the International Cloud Atlas. Have you heard about these cloud names or have you seen these kind of clouds in the sky? Cumulus,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Can you
Yes, sir.
recognize? If you look at the cloud in the sky, can you recognize these kind of clouds yourself?
Some of them.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, most of them you can recognize, right? So that's good. Yeah, but now just for the sake of continuity, we'll just have a look at them here. Clouds are so important that they are reviewed again and again by many people, and you might be knowing on WMO Day. Do you know WMO Day? Have you heard of WMO Day? Yes or no?
So the World Meteorological Organization Day at daytime.
What is that?
World Meteorological Organization Day.
Yeah, when is that? Generally, when is that date?
Daytime.
It's on
Don't
the
know
screen.
the date. Okay. Well, on 23rd of March, okay, when the WMO was established, is celebrated as the WMO Day, that is the World Meteorological Day. Okay. And every year, the WMO makes a theme for that year. Okay. Like this year also, there will be WMO Day theme. And we also celebrate the WMO Day. It is celebrated all over the world, in all the countries, especially in the meteorological organizations, right? Like in India, IMD will celebrate, and most of the university where courses on atmospheric science or meteorology is offered, this WMO Day is celebrated. Okay, now you may be knowing that on that day, generally the Indian Meteorological Department is open to the children, especially the school children, can visit the nearest India Meteorological Department office, and then they see what are the activities there, what are the kind of instruments IMD uses for taking observations and making weather forecast, right? And then there are lectures, special lectures also given on the day. So in 2017, the theme of the WMO Day was understanding the clouds. Okay, is this slide visible to you? Yes or no? Are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
see? Okay,
Yes.
good. So now we can just have a glimpse of some of the clouds, okay, that you may be also knowing already. Starting with the high clouds, okay, as we said, the high clouds have their bases ranging from 6 to 18 kilometer, okay, above the ground. And in terms of feet, it is 20,000 to 60,000 feet above the grounds in the tropics, okay. And some of the high clouds are, for example, the cirrus. You must have seen this kind of clouds in the sky. Have you seen this kind of clouds in the sky?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they call it cirrus cloud. And these clouds, the very high level clouds, as we said, now this message can range from 6 to 18 kilometers in the tropics, 20,000 to 60,000 feet. And therefore, at that level, everything is frozen because the temperature is so low. Temperature must be minus 70 degrees centigrade or minus 80 degrees centigrade. At such temperature, everything is frozen. So generally, all these high clouds, the cirrus clouds, contain ice crystals. Okay, these cirrus clouds contain ice crystals generally. Okay, then this is another high cloud cirrus subcategory called cirrus spicatus. This kind of clouds, if you have seen in the sky, they are called the cirrus spicatus. Okay, so it is interesting to know how such kinds of clouds form. How does such clouds form, right? Then you might have seen these kind of clouds also in the sky. It's called the cirrocumulus. These kind of clouds are called the cirrocumulus. And what you see here in this diagram, in this photo, is a halo formation around the cirrus cloud, right? Halo formation in the cirrus cloud. Okay, and this halo, as you have studied earlier in the atmospheric radiation, are the examples of Rayleigh scattering. They are the examples of Rayleigh scattering, right? Which says that the scattering is inversely proportional to the fourth power of the wavelength, right? Rayleigh scattering. These are the examples of Rayleigh scattering. Formation of halo around high clouds, okay, which may be present in the daytime around the sun, or in the nighttime also around the moon, right? So these are generally they are, at least in this photo, in this picture, in the cirrocumulus cloud. Okay, this is the typical cirrostratus. You must have seen these kind of clouds in the sky. This is a typical cirrostratus. Okay. Then this is also a cirrus in a very panoramic form in the sky. Okay. This is also a form of cirrus, all cirrus. Okay, containing only the ice crystals in the high level, having altitude 6 to 18 kilometer. Okay. And this is another example of this cirrocumulus cloud. Okay, whenever you see this kind of formation in the sky, that means this is a cumulus formation. Okay, you can see lines of clouds forming like this, stretching over hundreds of kilometers in the sky. See these bands of cloud. So these orientation or the bands of the clouds, they indicate the presence of wave motion. Okay, different wind structure, wind motion in the sky. Okay, so they are called the cirrocumulus cloud. Whenever we say cumulus, that means some sort of a convection is occurring at that level, and that's why it's cumulus. So whenever there is a high level convection, then clouds that form because of that is prefixed with cirrus, and they are called the cirrocumulus clouds. Okay, this is another example of cirrocumulus cloud. Very common type of cloud you must have seen in the sky. Right, this is also the cirrocumulus cloud. This is another example of cirrocumulus stratiformis. Okay, partly cirrocumulus and partly cirrostratus. Like this part is cirrocumulus and this part is the cirrostratus. Okay. Then this is another interesting cloud. Okay, this is rather more like a middle level cloud, but in some cases, some rare cases, can be also high cloud. And this is called the lenticularis formation. Okay, you can see the shape of the cloud is like a typical lens, lenticularis, right? So depending upon the location, its base can be very high, ranging into the high cloud range, or it can be also in the middle cloud range, lenticularis cloud. Often it forms over the mountain areas, and because of the waves, the mountain waves which form around the mountains, these clouds form over there, and they have a wavy kind of feature. Their structure is like a wave formation, right? So presence of this cloud indicates that there is some kind of atmospheric wave in that region, waves. Okay. This is also another example of cirrocumulus. Okay, cirrocumulus. So different types of clouds, interacts with radiation. Okay, especially we have seen that how the long wave radiation is trapped by the high clouds, right? And that high clouds can be cirrocumulus, it can be cirrostratus, and because of the trapping of the long wave radiation by high clouds, the atmosphere gets warm because radiation is not able to escape from the atmosphere. It's trapped by the high clouds. Okay, so this is how cloud radiation interaction occurs. This is also another example of cirrocumulus. Okay, lacunosus. It's called cirrocumulus lacunosus, and generally they are observed through satellite based upon the optical thickness. You have studied about the optical thickness, right? Earlier, isn't it? In the atmospheric radiation chapter, about the optical thickness, about the cloud radiation interaction, right? Then let's see some of the middle cloud types. Middle cloud types. As we have said, in tropics, the base of the middle clouds range from 2 to 8 kilometer. Okay, and that is equivalent to about 6.5 kilometer. 6,500 feet to about 25,000 feet. That means 6,500 feet to about 25,000 feet. Okay, their base can range in the atmosphere. And this is example of the middle clouds, example of the altocumulus. This kind of clouds we have seen in the sky, they are the altocumulus. And as I said earlier, when the word cumulus is attached to this, that means some kind of middle level convection is taking place. Okay, altocumulus. This is also another example of mixed altocumulus stratiformis. Okay, there are cumulus, but there are large bands of cumulus. Okay, so in between they have the stratiformis types. Okay, and they are called the altocumulus stratiformis. Okay, and this breaks in the clouds also indicates the different types of wave motion present in the atmosphere. Okay. This is yet another example of altocumulus castellanus. No, it's called altocumulus castellanus. All these names you can find in the Cloud Atlas, International Cloud Atlas, published by WMO. Okay. Yet this is another example of lenticularis cloud. Lenticularis cloud that we have seen earlier for the high clouds. As I said, the lenticularis cloud can also be mid-level clouds, and you see the nice lens structured formation in the sky, right? And this indicates some kind of a wave motion. See? And there must be mountain around, as you can see that here. There is a mountain. So around the mountains, we have got mountain waves. Now, the lee side of the mountain, leeward side, we have got the lee waves, as you will study now, also in maybe in dynamic meteorology. Have you studied the lee waves in the dynamic meteorology? Yes or no? Everybody is silent. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you studied the atmospheric waves in the dynamic meteorology?
So we have
Yes,
learned
sir.
about gravity waves and Kelvin waves we studied today, and we'll study study further.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rossby waves. You must have studied or you will study.
Yes, sir. We
Gravity
have
waves.
also studied Rossby waves.
Yeah, is one of the most important waves in the atmosphere. Rossby waves. In fact, for meteorological purpose, the Rossby waves are very, very important. Okay, so Rossby waves, gravity waves, Kelvin waves, and there are many types of waves which are present in the atmosphere. Okay, so these kind of formation of clouds indicate that some waves are present in the atmosphere. Okay, lenticularis cloud, altocumulus lenticularis. Then this is called the altocumulus flocus. Altocumulus flocus. Okay. And this is called the altostratus. Okay, altostratus cloud. Generally associated with the sometimes the cumulonimbus when the stratus is at the low level, they are simple stratus or they are fog or nimbostratus sometimes. But it is a high level, mid level, then this is associated with uh, continuous rainfall. When you have got continuous rainfall, very light rainfall taking place continuously for about 2-3 hours, then that means some kind of altostratus is present. Because if it is sour, like a sour from the cumulus cloud, then it would not last more than 15-20 minutes. Intense precipitation. But if it is light precipitation taking place for a very long time, that means some altostratus is present, and that occurs during the monsoon season generally. During the rainy season, this kind of clouds occur, altostratus. Then you have got the low clouds. Okay, and as you have seen earlier, the base of the low cloud ranges from 0 to 2 kilometers in the tropics. Okay, and these are some of the examples of the low clouds. This is the nimbostratus cloud. It's called the nimbostratus. Generally found at the base of the cumulonimbus, nimbostratus. And these kind of clouds give a lot of rainfall. A lot of rainfall occurs because of this presence of the nimbostratus cloud. Okay, this is called again, basically this is a cloud, rather middle to high level cloud, altocumulus or even cirrocumulus, but then there is a hole here called the punch in the cloud, and that occurs because of the presence of different atmospheric features, okay, in the sky. So this is an example of the hole punch in the clouds. Now this kind of cloud also you must have seen. Have you seen this kind of clouds?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they call the mammatus cloud, and generally occurs now again at the base of the cumulonimbus. When the cumulonimbus has kind of started it started dissipating, then these kind of clouds form called mammatus, and this occur because of the so-called cloud-based retrainment instability. You will study later on. Also, very important phenomena, in the boundary layer, the cloud-based detrainment instability. So that occurs, in the dissipating phase of the cumulonimbus clouds. Okay, this mammatus formation occurs. Then this is the stratocumulus. Okay, this is the stratocumulus. Part of this cloud is like a stratiform, and part of this cloud is like cumulus form. So it's a mixed cumulus stratus form called a stratocumulus. And again, these kinds of clouds are very, very important for the radiation budget, right? Especially in the trade wind zone. Okay, in the trade wind zone. Have you heard about the trade wind zone, the subtropics? Subtropical latitude. Yeah, in the subtropical latitudes, these kinds of clouds occur for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers over the ocean, especially subtropical ocean region. Stratocumulus clouds form for hundreds of kilometers. Then this is a very, very familiar cloud called cumulus humilis. Cumulus humilis, they are the fair weather clouds. Cumulus humilis. When these kinds of clouds are seen, that means the weather is generally fair. There is no rainfall. Okay. This is slightly grown up called cumulus mediocris. Now this cumulus cloud is now growing up. In the previous diagram, there is just a very initial form of the cumulus cloud, like a cauliflower. The cauliflower you've seen, right? You have eaten also in the vegetable cauliflower. This looks like cauliflower, like a cotton, flecks of the cotton, right? Cumulus cloud, cumulus humilis, or also called the fair weather cumulus. But when they are slightly developed or matured, or in the maturing stage, then we call the cumulus mediocris. Cumulus mediocris. Okay. Then further matured when they are, then they call the cumulus congestus. Also now it has taken the shape of a thunderstorm. Now it is forming a thunderstorm. Yeah. Right. Inside this cloud, already updrafts and downdrafts will be present. Updrafts will be intensifying. So this is the intensifying phase of the thunderstorm called the cumulus congestus. Okay, cumulus congestus. Now this is a full blown cumulus congestus cloud. blown up cumulus congestus cloud. Okay. Now this is a full form of the cumulonimbus cloud. When they are fully matured, now you can see the anvil shape is forming at the top of the cloud. The shape of anvil is visible at the top of the cloud. They're called the cumulonimbus. So these are the clouds which give a lot of intense precipitation, a lot of lightning also occurs in these kind of clouds. They are very strong updrafts, they are very strong downdrafts in these kind of clouds. Okay, the base of this cloud may be at the low level. So now they are also called the low level cloud because at the base there will be some nimbostratus present there. But at the top, which are very high level, top can be as high as the tropopause. Very deep clouds. If they are very deep, then the top can be almost touching the tropopause, and base will be very low, below 2 kilometers. Okay, so they are covering almost whole of the atmosphere, right? Whole of the atmosphere, cumulonimbus cloud. And as I said, they are the ones which are dangerous also because they give a lot of lightning, very strong winds, as strong as can collapse the trees or collapse the houses also, big houses structured in the villages especially because of this clouds, cumulonimbus. This is another example of cumulonimbus calvus. Okay, cumulonimbus calvus. This is okay. This is yet another example of cumulonimbus calvus. Now, full-blown cumulonimbus, as you can see. Now you can see from the top of these clouds. Now the anvil is forming up. Also from the edges, the cirrus is emanating. So from the top of the cloud, the cirrus clouds which you have seen earlier, they are emanating high clouds, whereas at the base they are low clouds, right? So their base is nimbostratus and top is cirrostratus or cirrus sometimes. Okay. This is yet another form of the stratocumulus cloud for long distance. This mixture of stratus and cumulus clouds form stratocumulus cloud. Okay. This is yet another example of stratocumulus cloud, right? And all these clouds, we need to model, right? We have to investigate how such kind of clouds form in the model, numerically, mathematically, on the grids or over the region, how such kind of clouds form, whether we can model these clouds, whether we can reproduce these clouds in the numerical models. It's a very interesting subject to investigate. Okay, this is the stratus, typical stratus cloud. Okay, so these are different forms of the clouds which you have seen also, must have seen in the sky by yourself. So for today, I think this much is enough, and slowly we'll go deeper and deeper into the cloud physics. Okay, and study more in the subsequent lectures. All right. So is that okay? We stop for today because I think 1:30. Dr. Chinmay Malik said that he will take classes because he's having some special courses for next 2 or 3 weeks. So he wants to take classes from 1:30 to 2:30, right? Is that so? Is he taking
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So therefore I will leave you now. Is almost 1:28. I'll leave you
Sir?
now.
Excuse
Yes.
me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, since we will be having our internals, so what are the chapters that will come for the it is 402 physics of atmosphere?
Yeah, actually, this year is a special year because of the COVID. No, you are not present in the campus, and internals are supposed to be held long ago. It would have been held long ago. If it was a normal semester, it would have been held long ago. Because as soon as we cover 1/3 of the syllabus, okay, then generally the internal is taken, and then first internal. Then you have a second internal when you cover the 2/3 of the syllabus, and after that there is a final end of the semester examination. But now in this semester already, at least in my subject, I have covered more than half of the syllabus, and generally internal is conducted till the syllabus which has been taught in the class. Suppose today is the internal, then whatever was taught till yesterday, that is covered in the questions, right? So what we can do is because now more than half of the syllabus is already covered, so we can divide no, the syllabus for your first internal and for your second internal, right? Accordingly. So we shall see, because internal dates are not yet announced. Have they been announced?
No, sir.
Not yet, no? Yeah, not yet. So once the internal dates are announced, then we shall decide what up to what portion of the syllabus we will have for the first internal and for the second internal accordingly. So is that clear, Varsa?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, once the date is decided, then we shall decide up to what portion of the syllabus we shall cover in the first internal and in the second internal accordingly. All right. Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rahul, you are saying something.
Sir,
Your voice is not clear. You're not audible to me. Your voice is breaking.
for attendance.
Why is that? Not clear. I'm stopping recording. You can talk.